Hello guys, welcome back. In this session, we'll be learning about data types and variables in Java. What are variables? What are the different data types which are available in Java? And how to write variables and how to store those data in those variables. Okay, variables are reserved memory locations to store the values of different data types. You will come to know what are those data types. Okay, there are different types of variables: local variables, instance variables, and class or static variables. So initially we'll be learning about local variables, and as and when we move further we'll come to know about different variables. Okay, so if let us take an example. So we have already written a class, our first Java class we have written. In that we can write int I. This I is a variable. You can give any name for this particular variable. It's not mandatory that you have to give I or anything. Any name can be given. It is a user defined value. Okay, so int is a data type. We'll see what is this and what it stores. So int I, initially if I write int I is a variable of type integer. You have to read in that way. I is a variable of type integer, and at this moment it is storing a value called 50. Okay, it is storing excuse me, a value 50. And here also m is a variable of type integer, and it also a type static. Okay, you will come to know about these static variables. And here n is a variable of type integer, and it stores the value 90. That 90 is an integer value. So here you can see here, anything which is written inside a method is called a local variable, and it is accessible only inside this method. It will not be accessible outside this particular method. That's why these are called local variables. And int I is equal to 50 is an instance variable, and this will be accessed across this class. And you will come to know about static variables, where they will be accessible in the different session called static keyword. Okay, so this is how we will declare and define a variable. Okay, so we'll come to data types. There are two different data types which are available in Java. One is primitive data types, another is non-primitive data types. Under primitive data types, we have integer type, floating point type, character, and Boolean. This integer type, okay, has different types here. One is byte, short, int, and long. Floating point type has float and double. Okay, character has char, boolean has boolean. Strings and arrays we'll see in our different sessions. So what are these things? So why we have categorized this integer type into byte, short, int, and long? Why we have categorized this floating point into float and double? Okay, what is this char is all about, and what is this boolean? We'll see that. Okay, so if we move forward, you can see here I have written byte, 1 byte, means this byte integer type will store the value of 1 byte up to 1 byte. Okay, and the value ranges from -128 to 127. You will come to know about default values in a different session. Don't worry about that, but you just understand there will be a default value for all these different data types. Short is of 2 byte, and it stores the value of this range. Int is of 4 byte, okay, and it stores this value. Long is of 8 byte, and it stores this value. Okay, that's why they want to store the values of different type, because you will initially, while writing the programming, you will not be having a fixed value. You will be having values of different types. So to save the memory, you can use byte. If you know, if you are particular about the value which is stored in a particular variable. Okay, if you are knowing that it is going to store between this range, you don't have to declare that as short, int and long. You can declare that as byte, and only one byte of memory will be allocated for that. Okay, so these are different integer types. So floating point type, one is float, that is 4 byte, and double, that is 8 byte. This is floating point type will be used to store the decimal values. Char is of 2 byte. It stores one character. Okay, it is a Unicode character. It is not some other ANSI or something. It will store Unicode character, and that's why it is of 2 byte, and it stores one character. We'll see that while writing a program. Boolean, it's a 1 bit. It either stores true or false. So the default value will be false. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll write a program so you will understand what are these different variables and data types. Okay, so I will create a class as data types, and I will select my main method because I have to write the while running the program runs from main method. So int I. Okay, so initially, okay, let us consider byte b int I. Okay, sorry, not int, short s int I, long l. Okay, you can give any name. I'm just for saving the time, I'm giving these short names. Float f, double d, char c, and boolean b. Okay, so now I have created all these boolean. Okay, I cannot give the same name. I will give bl. Okay, so I have created b is of type byte, s is of type short, I is of type int, long is l is of type long, f is of type float, d is of type double, c is of type char, and bl is of type boolean. So these are the variables. Okay, so after declaring the variables, I will assign values. Byte is 120, short is 32,000. I will write 50,000. Okay, long is 1 lakh. I will write float is equal to 1.2. Okay, so it will give me a error when I write. Okay, you can see here. Okay, I have to give s is equal to 32,000. Here for float, okay, I will be getting a error because by default it will be considered as double, so you need to add f here. Once you do that, it will be considered as floating point value. D is equal to 3.142, anything I can give. C is equal to, I will be storing a single character, that you need to do it with single quotes. Okay, I will write C there, capital C. Boolean is equal to true. Okay, so once I do that, I want to run these values. System dot means I want to display these values. System dot out dot println. Okay, I will be displaying v here. I will make them as local variables. Okay, so that there is no confusion. So I will be displaying everything here. So b, s, I, l, f, t, c, and bl. Okay, I can write bl here also. It's not mandatory that it should be in the same order. You can write it anywhere, you can display it anywhere. Okay, so now we will see run as Java application. Once I run this, you can see here 120, 32,000, 50,000 true. I am writing that in a different order. It is displaying there and this one. What if? So we have understood here it ranges from minus 128 to 127. What if I give 128 here? It gives me, Eclipse will automatically give me an error, and then it says add cast to byte or change the type of b to int. Means either you change this type to integer, okay, that is pretty simple, or you have got one more notification, add cast to byte. Means this is a integer value, you just typecast, means you convert this integer into byte and then store that inside b. Now you will be able to run this and you will get minus 128 because you have typecasted that value. Okay, so this is how you will be writing the variables and you will be assigning the values to them, right? So moving ahead, there is certain naming conventions while we write our Java program. You might have observed I am following certain naming conventions. So if you want to write a class name, should start with uppercase letter. These are the conventions. They are not like mandatory rules. Okay, it should start with uppercase letter and be a noun. Example, string, color, etc. If you can see here, I have created D with capital letters. Okay, and interface name, you will come to know what is an interface. Should start with uppercase letter and be an adjective. Okay, and method name should start with the lowercase letter and be a verb. You can see here the main is a method. I have written it with lowercase letter. Any other method also you can write with lowercase letters. You will understand that in our methods session. Okay, and variable name should start with lowercase letter. Example, first name, last name. You can see here if it is a combination of two words, first word first letter should be a lowercase and second word first letter should be a capital. So this convention if you follow, right, your program will be looking very neat, and by seeing that the name or the value, you will understand whether it is a method or it is a variable or it is a class and other things. Okay, so package name, you will come to know what are packages, should be in lowercase letters always. Constants names should be in uppercase letters, means max priority, or here I have given double D 3.142, right? So pi. So if I give that, okay, so that is a constant. You will understand that's a constant value. Okay, so that's the naming convention you have to follow. And there is a concept called camel casing in the sense, if name is combined with two words, second word's first character will start with uppercase letter. As I have already told you, in the variable names, the second word first letter will always start with capital letter. Okay, so these are the certain naming conventions, and you people should write your own variables and data types, assign some values, and try to run the program, try to give the value beyond the range and check what happens, right? And you convert this boolean to true to false, false to true, and check whether the value is stored or not. Okay, so yeah, that's all about data types and variables. It's a very important session because anything you want to any value you want to store, you need to know about what type of value it is and what type of variable I have to create. Okay, thank you guys, thank you so much.